Hey, and welcome. I'm Hammeh, and guess what? We are off to Paris. Overwatch's latest assault map has just been released on the PTR, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour through this map and what we can see here so far. And remember, of course, this isn't final course, it's in testing, but it's already an absolutely just beautiful looking map. That's the best way I can describe it. So let's jump right on in. Now we're going to be taking a tour. It's assault to some, 2CP to others. We're going to be talking about a few of the little background details, a few of the little points that we see.
One kill.
And firstly, I'm going to sing my favourite song.
J'accepte les demandes spéciales. Que souhaitez-vous entendre?
I take requests, maybe?
Demandez-moi le titre que vous souhaitez. En amour, je joue pour gagner.
So this is the Cabaret Luna. Having a good little song. That is apparently Luna, the velvety alto voice. The velvety alto voice of Luna charms movie stars, revolutionaries, locals and tourists alike. Remember that, because we'll have a look at that in a bit. So as we leave a Luna alone for a bit, I just, the first time I loaded into this map, I just sort of sat there and took in the atmosphere of this room. It's a really, really cool looking place. On the walls we have good health, Chateau Ophélie, a certain beverage, Cabaret Luna, every Friday at 9 o'clock, every Friday evening at 9 o'clock. Different acts, different things going on. Of course, Widowmaker is quite happily to take. Oh, look, we have a trapeze up here. And of course, it wouldn't be an Overwatch spawn if I couldn't make that have a little jump around as well. So, I do like this cat, Tournée de Luna. And we kind of have like an omnic robot-y looking cat there as well. Very, very funky. So as we come out into the streets, we have les deux escargots, the two snails, a little place to eat here, a little cafe. You can see croque monsieur, croque madame, onion soup, sugar crepes, chocolate crepes, ham and cheese crepes, and crepes a la Linda. Linda's crepes. A few ice cream options there, glace, and of course cake of the day. Who would not like a cake of the day if you're coming to a place like this? Food at all times. Plates and food all the way through the day. Loving that. So these are kind of the little artisanal streets. The map description says, step outside to see the sights and seize victory. Artisanal shops line the streets as you approach the first point, so duck in before clashing with your foes. Sample un macaron or escape enemy fire. Now, I find one of the themes so far of this Paris map to kind of be omnic human relations again. I actually think are being sort of flagged up here as a lore point. And the reason I think this is you sort of see, you'll see a lot of omnic sort of stuff, but I'm going to show you this area here on the right, which is kind of quite interesting. You kind of have the omnic sort of unity symbols, for want of a better word, that we've seen in King's Row, sprayed on the wall here. We have this very, very funky, cool piece of graffiti, which is kind of looking like, you know, a stylized version of a Zenyatta style omnic, a Mondata style omnic, perhaps. I think you've got your two eyes there. You then have this, which is interesting. Now, there's a nice little, this is intentional, there's a music change here as you come over to this side. Got something thumping away there. And you've got some quite interesting and fun, different designs of omnics and things. This omnic graffiti on the wall. Now, of course, nous vous surveillons. We're watching you with those eyes, sort of like there's three sort of like lights, similar perhaps in terms of alignment to the omnics, like, you know, the dots we see on top of Zenyatta and Mondata's heads in it. Just a thought. We then have this fairly tough-looking, semi-revolutionary omnic wielding a hammer. Maybe he's a a working man. Maybe he's a working person, a working omnic. Maybe he's fighting with that. Equal rights for omnics, of course, popping up there. Of course, it's in English, not in French for some reason. But who knows? And, these just kind of interesting, look, 3 dots on that head, 3 dots on that head. You've just got lots new different omnic graffiti designs that we've not seen before. And the reason I'm interested in this, well, this feels like a little bit of sort of an omnic-y area, for want of a better word. Maybe a bit of a clash here between omnics and humans. We'll see later as we head up and down that right flank. But if we quickly jump over here, we can see there's the Cabaret Luna, the centre-ville, middle of town, and the chateau. Indeed, that's the Maison Marat, where we'll be going at the end there. So this place is open, ouvert. You can go a couple of different routes here. Now these are very close, tight streets as you fight your way up to the first point, which is just through here, straight up ahead here. So a real King's Row vibe to these bits. Now we'll come back to these posters in a sec because I love the art of them. A boucherie, a butcher's, and for you map fans, you can actually get a line of sight over. You can jump and fly through there as a tank. I had a lot of fun flying straight over here as Winston. Of course, you can see in the background, maybe slightly lit up a bit more than the current day. Well, no, the current day Tour Eiffel is very, very lit up at certain times of year. And it's got lights all over it, but you've got these modern lights on it. So the Eiffel Tower there. And of course, I think if you look back one direction, not that way, I think we'll have to look a different way. You can see Notre Dame, the Cathedral of Notre Dame. But I think that, obviously, the Overwatch team have taken some creative license with where these things are set. So don't believe that this is an accurate representation of the middle of Paris in terms of geographical layout of those particular landmarks. So loving this graffiti. Quick hunt for sombre clues. I do very much love the theme of this sort of omnic revolutionaries. The map description says Luna charms movie stars, revolutionaries, locals and tourists alike. There is this kind of revolutionary, slightly sort of a, I'd say a rising up kind of theme, and you've kind of got this sort of I sort of thought, oh, he's Jean Val Omnic. But he's got a particular sort of interesting headpiece there, a few different colours there, and of course holding a French flag. La tricolore. Now, more posters for Cabaret Luna. You can see some of these inside the actual cabaret. So someone's had a lot of fun designing the various. You've got a slightly Moulin Rouge-y, dancey style vibe there, and slightly different various posters for all the different acts. So, start your new hero speculation. Continuing the Omnic theme, going from our equal rights for Omnics down this right flank. I was very much enjoying this kind of cool piece of graffiti or artwork. You've got, again, these three dotted omnics, although I do believe we've seen probably some with that head pattern. I need to go back and double check in the events of Alive and King's Row. And of course you've got the blue, white and red of the flag as well. So them sort of being colour themed. And also the fact that they've kind of been blindfolded by it. It's almost like their country is sort of stopping them from seeing. I quite like this as sort of a little piece. Maybe it's not meant to be anything, but it's almost like, they're being blindfolded by cloth in the colours of their flag. They're the country of France, or maybe the French people, or some people in France, maybe not all French people. It's kind of representing perhaps, Omnics being sort of not entirely doing well in France, perhaps being blinded by the sort of colours of patriotism or something like that. Anyway. That's my art analysis of a piece of Overwatch graffiti. What do you think? Answers in the comments below on a postcard. We move up towards capture point A. We are once again open, and we can have a little look at Patisserie and Boulangerie, of course. A few baguettes. Love Paris, a city of lovers. Amoureux, I think that's lovers, or city of love certainly. And of course, you've got the good old, the Omnic and human sort of looking very happy there, presumably together. And a very fancy little patisserie. I think we're in there. There we go. Patisserie Galante. Now I need to double check. I wonder if René Galante is I believe there's an artist on the Overwatch team, one of the art team. So this might be a reference to them. Need to double check. Now we need to go and have a look at that police station. I'm going to flag up to you right now that this is capture point A. As you come out into here, capture point A. I've seen many a Widow Baker begetting from over there. But we'll quickly have a look in here. little bit of fashion. Pick yourself up a nice handbag while you're here, and I think we'll pan around the outside and go to the police station before going to capture point B. Now, a very cool little hotel here, playing some lovely music from the piano. And I do believe if we just do this, oh, when the saints come, it's a playable piano. I could just do the sharps and flats work as well. Oh my goodness, I could have so much fun here. I wish I could play multiple different things at the same time. Oh, anyway, right, I'm not going to get caught up. You want to see the map, you don't want to see me play the piano, and when the saints come marching in. Okay, so we need to appreciate the view here. I'm going to try and turn off my HUD just to let you appreciate this view. Of course, with the very, very characteristic Seine river ferries there as well, albeit slightly overwatched up, but they actually look almost similar in terms of the long sort of curved shape. Little barge they're going by. And of course, La Tour Eiffel. Lots of balloons in the background. Clearly, in an Overwatch, hopeful, bright vision of the future, there's no problem with flying loads of balloons around the Paris airspace. It's all good. But yeah, absolutely stunning map this, and hey, you know, this feels as if it's been polished lots. Hotel Beau Ciel, beautiful sky, by the way, of course. And it wouldn't be a hotel without a few balconies. There is a lot of fun for Widowmaker to be had here. Now, another thing reflecting on sort of the status of Onyx in Paris, or I don't know if it's entirely France, maybe it's just Onyx are happy with this deal. Maybe Onyx are sort of equal citizens, maybe they're not, I don't know. But there's certainly a lot of advertising with Onyx in around Paris, and that certainly extends to the various entertainments, the ballets, the opera, and similar. Now, of course, Le Lac des Cygnes, Swan Lake, of course, and of course, we've seen Widowmaker's various ballet skins of her being dressed up as the Black Swan or similar from Swan Lake. Now, I've actually done an entire lore video on Swan Lake and the Widowmaker skin. So if you're interested in ballet and the significance of Widowmaker's sort of Black Swan and White Swan and Swan Lake, I'll link my skin lore video playlist below. So you should definitely go check that out. It is completely relevant, but it's interesting that we have Onyx, I do believe. Onyx being the dancer. So obviously Widowmaker was dancing as a human in the ballet, as we know from her lore. Now, we have I'm going to go for La Bayadère, and this one, I do believe, is something that we take a little look at in terms of ballet. Now, this one is the temple dancer, telling the story of the dancer Nikia and the warrior Salor, who have apparently sworn eternal fidelity to each other. And then the High Brahmin is also in love with Nikia and learns of her relationship with Salor. And then Salor has also been chosen to wed his daughter, the local Raja's daughter. And Nikia doesn't know about this, and she has agreed to dance at their betrothal celebrations. And then things spin out from there. So that is La Bayadère. And then again, we have another omnic sort of doing the dancing there, as well as Swan Lake. If we come around here to the side, I believe there's one more opera poster. Now, obviously, there's nothing omnic there, but saying a new season of the opera. We've got Cadmus and Hermione, and then the Dialogue des Carmélites. Now, Cadmus and Hermione is kind of a musical tragedy. It's from the, I believe, 1673, if Wikipedia is to be checked. I am no expert in musical tragedies indeed, but it's basically opera of the time, a musical tragedy of the time, praising King Louis XIV, showing him as Apollo, slaying the Python of Delphi, going back to ancient Greek myth and legends. The love story of Cadmus, the king and founder of Thebes, and Harmonia, the daughter of Venus and Mars. And then you see Athene, Juno, Jupiter, Cupid, and other Greek sort of mythological figures in there. And then you have the Dialogue de Carmelite. This is a version of the story of apparently the martyrs of Compiègne, Carmelite nuns in France, who during the French Revolution got guillotined for refusing to renounce their vocation to their faith, effectively. So we have a lot of different sort of little opera references. They do like their posters. Remember, of course, we've had a few sort of in King's Row, a few in other places, as in like Rialto and things. They do like their little nods to sort of opera and classics in a lot of the Overwatch posters, which is pretty cool. The thing that I do find kind of interesting here is that we just have Onyx doing everything. We've got Onyx in the advertising. We've kind of got Onyx in, I'm going to call them all of the performing roles here. And then we do, of course, have Luna at her little club. It's named after her. Is it her club? If so, well, hey, then she's the boss. Or Luna the Omnic, they are the boss. But it'll be interesting to see if Luna is the boss there or not, for example. Just headcanon a little bit. Poster-wise, La Bonne Affaire. Spennymoor, the clothers Spennymoor. We have seen Spennymoor in King's Row. Do quite like the sort of a country clothing, shall we say. Women's casual collection for autumn and winter. Chap looking incredibly smart there. We've seen Spennymoor kicking around in King's Row as a clothing vendor. And then we have the police station. Now this is what finally sort of gives me another reflection on what is the deal with Onyx and their sort of general status in Paris and similar. One thing's for sure, we've seen that area at the back where, you know, people are certainly talking about omnic rights. Look what's going on in the police station. Well, these people we need to have a look at in a bit. Look at that model. Look at these model. That guy doesn't care. That omnic doesn't care. They do not care about anything. He's not playing by the rules. He, she, or they, whoever they are not playing by the rules. You know this. You're not on a wall in a police station on a board if there's something going on. Now, of course, a lovely little reference here. We've seen these guys before. And, of course, in if you watched A Moment in Crime before Junkrat and Roadhog were introduced as heroes way back, years ago now in Overwatch's history, then you know, of course, that in that little sort of animated A Moment in Crime trailer, we see them blitzing through Paris, robbing ice cream vans and similar. So Junkrat and Roadhog have been through Paris, and they would certainly be on the walls of the police station. But loving these models, loving the art. You see, I think 4 different. You see the guy with the Omnic with sort of the glasses. You see the one with sort of the interesting hair here, sort of staring straight down the barrel of the camera. You see this one sort of looking very nonchalant with his kind of neck scarf type semi sort of sort of neck scarf throw type thing. Very punky Omnic do there. We've seen that in a few other Omnics kicking around as well. So you've got at least 4 designs before you have a look at Sideways Baseball Cap guy as well. Playing by no one's rules, not even his own, not even their own there. So loving this sort of idea of this gang. And then finally we get up to sort of like glasses person as well. Sort of similarities, wearing clothes, sort of the chest piece in the middle there, a little bit of neckwear there as well, sort of various augmentation and things. So yeah, what's the deal with sort of this gang? And I know that as well as the posters that we've seen on the walls, a lot of people will be looking at those Onyx thinking, who could these be? What could they be doing? Could they possibly be new hero fodder? Who knows? Hey, how about a French Omnic tank? Not a Talon tank, but a French Omnic tank. There you go. How's that for some fun? Okay, so in terms of the story and the lore and things that we've seen so far, having a look around Paris, that is, in essence, the most of it. Now, I will take you over to the final point so we can go have a look at that. But that, I think, describes a lot of the story that we've seen in this map so far. Unless there are things to be added, or unless there have been things that I've actually missed. But as we come through to the police station, we can work our way back a little bit further. And you can again see a beautiful view over here. We have little street stalls, and of course, if you've been around the Seine in Paris, you'll be very familiar with the various sort of little street stores, little carts and things. Obviously, they're hover carts now, but people selling postcards, sort of sketch artists, some little bookshops and things like that. So that is what this whole little area is representing. Whether you have a florist's, whether you have this little stand selling books, postcards, and other bits and bobs, we finally come to the final area. And in this final area, we have capture point B. So you've kind of got 3 ways in here. Just we may as well do a little bit of gameplay. You've got a big main hall. Now you've got a sort of larger entrance here, but these are all quite choky. There's reasonable room because they're quite high ceilinged, but they're still quite choky in terms of funneling people through. Although if a team is flooding through one of these doors, they will be able to get in before having an area where there's a lot more room to manoeuvre. And of course, all your usual flanking characters will be having some fun around the outside, getting in the back line as well. So this is very much a very, very fancy house. Fancy building, a lot of art on display, and this is capture point B. So very, very large ceilings. Now, story-wise, having had a look around here, it's just a gorgeous looking space, is the best way of describing it. And again, another working piano. And I know that, of course, robot Roombas being alive and well is something that's going to have a lot of people very, very happy. Of course, some Petrus champagne, why wouldn't there be? And in terms of having a look in the spawn, there was nothing massive that I could recall there. A beautiful large courtyard. So yeah, there we have it. That is a little bit of a tour of Paris. What do you think of Paris? What do you think of this map? I will be honest with you and say that I've not seen any Widowmaker related lore yet. However, I will leave you with this thought. We had Rialto not long after the events of Archives last year, and Rialto was used as a map base. This map, looking so polished in this kind of way, could just possibly mean that what if this was the base for Archives this year? What if we had a Paris-related Archives? And the reason that there is no Widow lore in here just now is because we're actually going to see a Archives event in Paris this year. Could it be, for example, the events of Widowmaker's conversion, kidnap, the death of Gerard Lacroix, something to do with Widowmaker and Talon and Paris? Could it be Amélie Lacroix's past? I think there's the potential for it, because this map is looking so beautifully polished and ready. It's sort of, this is just ready. Do you know what I mean? I doubt there's much to be added to this, like polish-wise. If you look at the graphics and just the detail and everything like that, this feels like it's good to go. I do just wonder if we're going to see this as a base for hopefully maybe a new playable event in the Archives in April. And the thing is that if this isn't the base of the Archives in April, then what's it? What are we going to get? Are we going to get another new map or something in April? Are we going to get another Archives in April that we're going to have a go at? Another new map that they're going to build off the top of. So that's really exciting. So whether or not this is even the Archives in April's base for a new Uprising, a new Retribution, or whatever a new version of that could be, then it'd be a beautiful base for that, and that would be a really exciting story that they could tell here. Or it's not, and we maybe get a new map and an entirely new different event, and that really, really excites me. So what do you think of the map? Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear them. If you like this video, please do throw a like and subscribe. Big thanks to my patrons on Patreon, who are the people who make my videos possible. Sorry it's been a bit quiet in general. I have a bunch of stuff going on. In the meantime, do check out my skin lore and more. I'm going to be doing a bunch of new things on the channel. Look forward to sharing those with you in February onwards. Do check out my vids. Do let me know how you're doing as well, and how excited you are for this map, or indeed Archives and other things. Are you enjoying the Lunar New Year? I'd love to know your thoughts. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammeh. Take it easy.